Hello, hello, hello. Hello, guys. Just wait for everyone to be here. All right, cool. Hello, hello. How are you today? So, when you can, please let me know where you're watching this from. Okay, guys, so go ahead and tell me where you are watching this from. I always like to know where you are in the world because there are people from all over the world interested in the IELTS test. Okay, so let me just introduce myself. My name is Fabi. I'm an English teacher. I live here in Brisbane, Australia, where I teach English at colleges and universities here in Brisbane, Australia. And what I do most all the time is help people get the score they need on the IELTS test and do the test only once. Okay. You shouldn't be doing the IELTS test multiple times. Okay. Just once is fine. All right, guys. And welcome to IELTS Journey with Fabi. All right, cool. Yeah. So just so you know, we're also live on YouTube. Okay. So what I always say is that on YouTube, I have more real estate. So if you're watching me on Instagram, you're seeing this. On YouTube, you're seeing this. Okay. So there's more to see. Okay. And as usual, if you have questions, you can pop them in the comments. All right. And yeah, and today we're going to be talking about academic writing. More specifically, task 1. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about task 1 academic writing. Okay. So there's lots of people joining me now. Can you please tell me where you are in the world? I like to know where you are in the world, guys. All right. Cool. So while you tell me where you are, I will start. Okay. So, as you know, there are two types of IELTS tests. So we have the general IELTS and the academic IELTS. Okay. Oh, someone is in Brazil. Hello. Someone in Brazil. Cool. São Paulo. Cool. Yeah. So someone from Brazil. Let's see who's going to be the winner today. I think the winner last time was Colombia. Lots of people from Colombia. Okay. So, Colombia. See, there's always someone from Colombia. Where I'm teaching at the moment. I have, I think, 10 students from Colombia in the same class. What? Lots of people from Colombia going abroad. That's so cool. So cool. All right. So as I was saying, we have the IELTS academic and the IELTS general, right? So if you want to study abroad, you're going to be doing the IELTS academic. Okay. And the writing part and the reading part of the IELTS academic in general, they're different, right? So today we're going to talk about the writing part, more specific task 1. Okay. So if you're going to do the academic IELTS for task 1, okay, for task 1, you have to look at a picture or a visual, a chart, a table. Okay, so you look at a thing and then you have to write about it. Okay, put your hands up if you think this part is a little bit tricky. Some people love it. I've had students who were like, oh my God, this one is so simple, it's so easy. But some people hate it. Okay, mostly because when you look at those pictures, there's lots of information. Okay, lots of information, and you have to pick and choose. So you have to look at that information, right? And get the main features, okay, the main things there, and write about it and describe it. Okay, and lots of people, they get a bit worried about that part, okay, because it's a little bit difficult to get the information, okay? But even more difficult to get the information is, okay, being able to actually look at the thing, know what it is, and do what you have to do. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today here. Okay, so today I'm going to share with you all the types of visuals that you can get. Okay, there are many types. Okay, so today I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about all the things that you can get. Okay, so when you look at that chart, you know what it is. Okay, because I'm always talking about practice, 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 right? So, guys, the main reason we practice is to get to know the test well. That's one of the main reasons we practice. Okay. And then we can see what score we would get. Okay. But the most important thing when it comes to practice is actually not being surprised on the day of the test. Okay, someone is saying hi, hello, hi. Okay, so one of the most important things is you cannot be surprised on the day of the test. Okay, do you know the thing that you look at something, you know exactly what it is, and you know what you have to do? Okay, the thing is, if you look at something and you don't know what it is, you're going to get stuck. You are going to be frustrated and you're going to get really, really anxious. Okay. So, my job here today is to tell you all the types of visuals that you can get in IELTS Writing Academic Task 1. Okay. Just so you can look at it and you know what you have to do. Okay. So, you know what you have to do. All right. Okay. So, one of the most popular ones, okay, and I'm just going to put them all in one category, okay, are the charts, okay, and the graphs. Okay, so for task 1, most of the time these are actually the most popular ones. Okay, most of the time you will get graphs and charts. Okay, and graphs, you could have the pie one, the circular one, you could have the bar one. Okay, so those ones are the most popular ones. Okay, but then you also have the tables. Did you know you could get a table? Because lots of people talk about graph and chart, and usually also people, when they start writing their reports, okay, they always say graph, graph, graph. Okay, but sometimes it's a table. Okay, so be careful with that, because I think you should be quite specific. Okay, if it's a table, you should say table, right? So tables are ones that you could get. Okay, and usually, okay, let me just go back a little bit with for the charts. Okay, so I just thought about it now, you could get a line chart. Okay, so the one that goes like that. So you could also get a line chart. Okay, and when it comes to those ones, I think the most important thing to pay attention to would be maybe the numbers. Okay, because you have one of the requirements for task 1 is actually to talk about the data. Okay, the data is basically the numbers. Okay, guys, you have no idea of how many writings I get from students. Okay, and they have absolutely no numbers, zero numbers. Okay, like, and one of the requirements is to talk about data. So when they say data, okay, guys, especially if we're talking about tables, graphs, and charts, okay, it's the numbers. Okay, but then when it comes to numbers, we have also to know what numbers are we talking about, right? So they're usually going to be talking about quantity of things. Okay, they could be talking about money. Okay, how much was spent, for example, or they could be talking about kilograms. Okay, just I remember one that I usually work with my students is a line graph. Okay, talking about the consumption of meat. Okay, so if we're talking about the consumption of meat per person, so actually the numbers you have there are the amount of meat, which would be kilograms, and also, oh my God, every time I go like that, it goes like that. It gives me a thumbs up. Instagram gives me a thumbs up. That's so funny. Okay, so so they're talking about kilograms, okay, per person. All right. And how much people actually consumed, and also how much was consumed. Okay. So that those are the kinds of numbers you might get. Okay. There is a table that I usually use with my students too, talking about um how much money people spend on certain things. Okay. And they have percentages. Okay. So these are the kind of things you should be paying attention. Okay, guys. If you have tables, charts, and graphs. Okay, so these are the most important ones. Okay, and why am I telling you this now? If you talk about charts, graphs, and you see a table, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know I could get a table. Now you know, yes, you could get a table. I have a student and she hated tables because before she met me, she was practicing for the IELTS test and she didn't know she could get a table. And guess what? On the day of the real test, she got a table. And then she hated it for a while until we worked with it. And then she actually felt better. And now she knows how to deal with the table. Okay. So that's why we're talking about this today. All right, guys. Just so you know what to expect on the day of the test. Okay. So we talked about charts, graphs, and tables. Okay. Another one that you can get, and again, some people love it, some people hate it, is the diagram. Yeah. For academic writing, IELTS Academic Writing Task 1, you can get a diagram. What is a diagram? A diagram is basically a picture of something that is happening. Okay. For example, just a recent one that I was working with with a student. Okay. It was the cycle of life of the salmon. Have you seen this one before? Basically, this little salmon, like as a baby, and then how he goes up the river, and then how he makes more babies. Like it was like the life cycle of the salmon. Crazy, huh? That's a diagram, right? Another one, which is actually more common than this one, would be process. Okay. So, a common one that I saw recently was the process of making cement. Okay. So, it tells you from the beginning. So, it's a picture, right? So, it's a picture. And a lot of people look at that picture and they go, oh my God, this picture is crazy. And they say, what about vocabulary? The tricky vocabulary, guys, they give it to you. So I think that with the diagram, I think it's not that complicated because you have lots of words helping you. Oh, there was one also about the greenhouse effect. Yeah, so like the greenhouse effect, or the greenhouse. I can't remember now. Sorry. Yeah, but it's like a greenhouse, and then rain, the process of the rain. You know how the rain happens, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's also something that you might get. Okay, when you're doing the academic one. All right. So with this one, I think it's not as tricky because you get lots of vocabulary. However, some people find it a little bit complicated sometimes. Okay. So today we're talking about IELTS writing, task 1. Okay. And we're talking about all the type of images and visuals you can get. All right. So we talked about the charts. Okay. You could get a pie chart, you get a bar chart, graphs, tables. Please do not forget about the tables. Tables are very common. Okay, guys. And we talked about diagrams. Okay. Usually, diagrams will be showing processes. Okay. So, how things happen. Okay. And I personally think they are quite straightforward because you have lots of vocabulary there to help you too. All right. Cool. Then the next one. The next one is not that common. And I think that's why people hate it so much because it's not that common and people don't know about it and people never practice it. When I'm helping my students, I always give one of these ones to them because they're not very common, but yes, you can get them. The maps. Yeah. Put your hands up if you've done practice, okay, for the IELTS test, academic writing, and you saw a map. How many of you have seen a map? Please don't tell me you never saw a map when you were practicing and you saw the map only on the day of the test. Please don't tell me that, but it happens sometimes. Okay. So, guys, maps. I'm a kind of person, okay, that I'm very good at maps. I love maps. I'm very good at directions. Okay, so I don't really have a problem with maps. I don't have a problem with maps when it comes to the listening test, and I don't have a problem with maps when it comes to the academic writing. But I know lots of people do. I had a student, and she used to freak out every time she saw the north, south, east, west, either on the writing or in the listening part, because she hates directions. Okay, so it was very hard for her to deal with it. Okay, but so if you know you have this problem, guys, something you have to do today is just do some research and look at the maps. Okay, if you are this kind of person. All right, but one thing with the maps, okay, so a very common type of map would be a map showing changes. Okay, so usually it's the before and after, or it's a map with the current, okay, the current, what a place looks like, and then what it would look like in the future. Okay, so you have these two different types. Okay, but one thing that people struggle with the map sometimes, there's actually a very popular one. Actually, I think I've shared one of these maps maybe in a live or something. Yeah. So a popular one is one about an island. I don't know if you've seen the one before, and that's the one I like to use when I practice with my students. Is the one about the map. So in this map, we have an island, and we have the before and the after. Okay. But basically, in the before, there was nothing on the island. And in the after, there's lots of things on the island. Okay. So I'm going to give you some strategies now. Okay. Um, so when it comes to that one, okay, we have two maps. Okay. So if we're thinking about organization, right, we're probably going to need two paragraphs, right? One paragraph, two paragraphs. But then the first paragraph is about the first island. And guess what? There's nothing on the island. And the second paragraph is about the second island, the after, okay, after the construction was finished, right? And there's heaps on it. Okay. So I've had lots of people, and I've had students who have done this too. On the map that there is nothing, people feel like they have to write something. Okay. Yes, you do have to write something. But because in the second island you have so much, you have maybe 5 sentences in your second paragraph, and you have 1 sentence or 2 sentences in the first paragraph. Okay. What happens? People try to write things that are not there. So so today I think, guys, your biggest takeaway will be this one for maps. Okay. Maps are not common, but you might get one. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, if you have a map that you have to describe, but there isn't much in it, don't go writing things that are not there just because you feel like you have to write something. You are describing an image. Okay. If there's nothing in the image, you don't have much to say. Okay, guys, don't write as much. Just don't. Okay, because one of the biggest problems also with people with task one is that you write things that are not there. You give your opinion. Okay, you shouldn't be doing that at all. Okay, guys, so that's something that it's a big, huge no when it comes to task one. Okay, I think that That's something that I would like you all to remember, okay, for task one academic. All right. Okay. So let's do a quick recap. Okay. So, guys, if you have questions, you can pop the questions in the comments. All right. We're also live on YouTube, Fabi English on YouTube. Okay. Um, so just pop the questions in the comments. All right. And I'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Okay. So let's do the recap. So today we're talking about IELTS writing, task one. Okay. More specifically, academic. Okay. And I'm telling you a little bit about all the visuals that you can find on the test. Okay. And why am I taking the time to tell you this? Because I don't want you, okay, to practice for the IELTS test at home. And then you go on the day of the real test and you start the test. And the first thing you see is an image that you've never seen in your life. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention something. Sometimes they have tables and graphs. Yeah. Sometimes they will have tables and graphs. Let me see if I remember. Yeah, they have that too. I completely forgot about that. Okay. So, but again, it's something you know, of course. You know they have charts, you know they have tables, but sometimes they have both together. You can get that too. Okay. And then people freak out a little bit. But guys, if you know how to read the graph, you know how to read the table, right? So I don't think it's a big deal. But some people get really anxious about it, really, really anxious about it. Okay. So just a recap. So the most, not the most common one, all the types that you could get are charts, graphs, tables, diagrams, usually describing processes, okay, and the maps. The maps are not very common, and that's why people freak out so much. Okay, the maps are not very common, but yes, they are possible. You could also get maps. Okay, and in the same way, sometimes you could get with the pie chart. I have seen lots uh, of the ones with pie charts where you have more than one pie chart. Usually you could get up to four pie charts. Okay. But then it's good because then you can compare and contrast quite nicely. Okay, guys. So just pay attention to that. All right. Okay. Do you guys have any questions today? Any questions today? No. No questions today? Oh, Happy New Year, right? Happy New Year to everyone. Okay, yeah. And just another reminder, guys, for the academic writing task one, you have to have data. You have to have numbers, especially if you're dealing with the tables, okay, with the charts. All right, you gotta have those numbers. Okay, when it comes to diagrams, okay, make sure you have the vocabulary that they mentioned. Okay, and when it comes to maps, making sure that you are talking about um, describing quite well. Okay, and please don't describe something that isn't there. Okay, and usually making predictions, sometimes you have to make predictions, but not all the time. Okay, so when we say don't write what's not there, okay, if you're required to make a prediction, yes, but usually you don't have to. All right, you don't have to most of the time. All right, cool. Okay, no questions for me today. No questions. All right. So if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna go. Okay. I hope this was helpful. All right. I think it is. Because I've seen lots of people not practicing enough, not knowing what they're gonna get. Okay. And then they go do the test and like, oh my god, I've never seen this before. Guys, that's not what you want. Okay. You don't want to go do the test and come out and say, oh my god, I have never seen this before. Okay, especially in the writing part. That's not something that you want. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go. All right, but I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, and again, guys, if you have any requests when it comes to topics that I could deal with, okay, just go ahead and send me a message. All right. And I will try my best to prepare something for you so I can help you. All right. Okay. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. All right. Okay. Bye.